All right, I think I am ready. Hello again. Welcome to day 98 of daily drawing practice. Um, so I think I'm gonna do another Scott Eaton bodies in motion photo. Um, I'm kind of running low on the available high res ones though, so probably not gonna be for too much longer before I have to start like doing other stuff again. Um, Today I have like a lady on like a rope thing that I'm gonna be drawing. Kind of an interesting pose, and like she has like a really uh like bent spine, so it should be kind of interesting to draw too. Um, all right. I'm not gonna use such weird colors as I did last night. Sorry for missing the stream. I had some issues yesterday, uh, which prevented some streaming, but back today, good to go. Actually, I might not use this shape artboard. I might use the one before. 7680. The reason I came up with these dimensions is because they end up being like 1080p. So if I'm doing these streams and I do like the sped up version, it's just like a full 1080p screen, but I have to do them horizontal for that. And I haven't really been doing the sped up ones very much anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. All right. This is like a super complicated pose. I'm not exactly sure how to go about breaking it down. I guess I like I'd start with the legs. Kind of weird, but that's not a pencil. Like a lot of these images too, the lighting is pretty cool. Um, so it should be interesting if I decide to paint it or like do like shading, nice shading on it, which I probably will. I like spending a couple days on these things. The one I did yesterday, I just did really quick, so I didn't bother. I don't know how people get this fucking flexible. Lots of stretching, I guess. As I get older, like, even just like normal ass shit gets harder to do. I can't imagine being like a gymnast or acrobat in like your early 30s. I've already had back surgery once. Granted, like, not a ton of 30-year-olds need to get back surgery, but yeah. This basically goes to like the corner of the rib cage, and then from there it kind of bends back even more. It's like such an unnatural pose. It's gonna probably, if I don't get it right, it's gonna look really weird. She's like hanging from a rope doing a back bend. She's got kind of like a band around her chest, which is good because I think it would have been harder to draw like bear. And you have to worry about like gravity and everything. And I'll probably need to zoom in to get this stuff more accurate. I'm just like way zoomed out on my sample photo. This arm's almost completely vertical, which is a good thing to use as a marker for measurements and stuff. When I'm drawing, I always find that I like push my head forward and start to feel like tension in my neck, so I have to make sure that I like use my headrest more. I don't know what it is. I'm just like drawing. That's fucking serious business. I think I was thinking like every night it's like a whole exercise of all these things that I need to think about. Like what music am I gonna listen to? Rhymes today, by the way. Art Angels. Um, what music? What if I'm gonna stream or not? Like what I need to draw. Um, it's a lot. Usually I'm doing it at like 10 or 11, or not 11, maybe like 9 or 10. It's like a point in the night where I don't really even want to be making decisions, you know? But I think it's important, like my drawing becomes something that I had to count on, you know? That part is like way longer. Notice that I end up doing this a lot. I like draw the initial thing and then kind of like adjust everything as a pencil sketch to get the proportions closer. But I'm not like really practicing the measurement side of it very much. I feel like I need to start doing more. I might try to start like thinking about, I don't know, like a schedule of things to work on, or like a syllabus. Oh, I kind of want to make a syllabus. I don't know. I think like a series of things that I need to get better at. Like something I forgot to do. Forgot to do warm up today. I'm gonna make a new layer. Do some spirals. Um, the warming up is actually something that I want to get better at because I always forget to do it. Even doing just like a couple spiral starts to tire out my arm, which is fucking the worst. So I just watched the newest episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The new art style is so good. I love the coloring. They have like the skin tones and like what they render like as black in anime, which is a lot of the time like a bluish color. Like that stuff's basically pretty normal, but like almost everything else is like really really saturated and like crazy looking, and it's just like a really cool look. And because it's not Jotaro anymore, it's like the opening is more fun. It feels almost like Persona. Like Liz called out that it looked sort of Persona and like felt like a poppy opening, which I like a lot more than the like dour stuff that you get when Jotaro is the main. I know Jotaro is popular in Japan, but like I don't know. We were never into him. We were always fans of Joseph Joestar. He's like so much more fun than the other ones. Like Jonathan was just kind of boring. Joseph ruled, and then Jotaro was just like a like he became funnier like towards the end because he's like just so confident, and you find out that in a lot of cases it's like unfoundedly so, but then he ends up being good at whatever anyway. There, I think where he kind of started turning around for me was when they were playing video games. There's like a part of the arc where playing video games against someone and find out that he's just fucking terrible at video games, but he like learns over time and he is like confident from the start. And it's like I think they knew that like Jotaro would be too, I don't know, like boring or like couldn't support the show on his own, so they like kept Joseph, the second JoJo, as like an older man that like hung out, and he like story wise he's Jotaro's grandfather, but he's like in the show the whole time, which is cool because he's the best, second best now. I don't know. I don't know. I think the new season is really good about how they use their stands. Like stands weren't even a thing the first couple of seasons. It was just like fighting the first one, like normal ass, like punching and shit. And then they came out with Hamon, which is kind of like can you go Super Saiyan? Can you like fuck with your chakra type stuff? Um, and finally they introduced stands, which are basically just personas. Like like you have something tied to your soul, and you can like call it to help fight with you and whatever. Um, but in this one, uh, Josuke's stand is really interesting, and he like uses it in these really like smart ways. I don't want to spoil anything about the second episode, but there's like some like cool ass shit that he does with it. It's only the second episode, so I'm sure it's gonna get even like more awesome. And another thing that I like is like Star Platinum. They it didn't really have any weaknesses really. It was just like super fast. It had like it do this thing like after and before the commercial break where they show like the stand's powers, and like on one of those like octagon or hexagon grids they show like power, strength, all that type of stuff. I don't know what the actual things were because it was in Japanese, but like they'd show them, and Star Platinum was always like A, and everything else would be like C. So it just felt like overpowered. And yeah, they had like issues with some of the people they were fighting sometimes, but like they'd always figure out a way to do it, obviously. But I feel like Josuke's will have problems with stuff, but I feel like instead of just being like ora, I'm punching them a lot, they'll like have an interesting a potentially interesting way to solve it, um, which rules. Oop, I realized I didn't have enough room. That's like the one thing I really dislike about Procreate is that rotating stuff is terrible. And sorry again for the no stream yesterday, but I had some stuff going on, so can't talk about that stuff yet, but I will. I will eventually. This Grimes album, Art Angels, is like definitely one of my favorite albums recently. Just really good. There's not really like any songs that I don't like. The only one is like sort of less good is the like in my opinion anyway, is the one with the rapping lady on it. I just don't I'm not into that style of rapping, I guess. I want to check what how long I've been streaming for. All right. I'm just trying to keep an eye. It's been 23 minutes at the moment. Liz and I watched all of the like Overwatch shorts. We hadn't seen the Widowmaker one alive called and I hadn't seen well she hadn't seen either of them but or the intro one in the museum with like the kids from a while ago. But we watched the Widowmaker one, the Winston one, and the intro one again for me. And I'm really impressed with the quality of those things. I kind of wish they made like a feature film or something out of it. They're all really good. I don't know about coloring this, at least tonight. I really didn't even feel like streaming today either, but figured I didn't do it yesterday, so I probably should. I did upload the like sped up version that you can just export from Procreate. I exported my session from last night, which I think was pretty fun for me. I basically just like drew another pose similar to this, like with the dude. Um, I think it came out decent. It was a little bit. Um, I was trying to do kind of like seeing how much detail I could get in the painting phase of it with using that like weird brush and not really using smaller sizes. Kind of like a combo between what I'm doing on the drawing with the lady that has the what the fuck that is, like the fabric thing that she's waving around. Like a combo between that and those drawings I did, I think, on like a couple days ago. These two, the dude butt and the woman, where I just like basically used the big brush for the entire time. Um, I think it came out pretty well actually, but there's like a bunch of stuff that I would still change about it. Always. I'm not really sure why sometimes it like selects the tool and then other times it brings up the menu. Like the eraser I don't think was already selected that time. And I thought it was like if it's already selected and you tap it, it opens it. It seems mostly, maybe I double tapped it or something. I don't know. Ugh. I can't even get my feet remotely this close to my head from the front. Also, just as a test the other day, I like tried bending my toes this much, and like not only do my toes like not bend as much as this, I like broke one of my toes when I was a kid. Like one of them doesn't bend down this much, but when I did it, it like cramped up my whole foot. I don't know how these people do this stuff. My body revolts if I try to do the most minor part of any of these poses. That foot is definitely too long. It's something that I need to start thinking about doing. I think especially when I start drawing from like my brain is like not rotating it. Rotating it made me think of it, but like doing like a flip horizontal to like check perspective and stuff. I know Onips does that a lot. It like surprises me how much she does it, and something that I need to get better at for sure. I think gives you just like enough of a new perspective that you can see things that are issues with your drawing that you might not have noticed by like continuing to look at the right way round version of it. Not sure like how I want to color this. Might use the vertical, more vertical. Um, I might continue to use that like weird brush I made. Like it's growing on me like a lot. And I thought that I would like use it for half a night and be like, ha ha ha, I made a brush. It's total garbage. And like that's how it started, but I don't know, something about the way that you can like get thick or thin lines based on how the canvas is positioned is kind of cool, I think. Right. At this point, the sketch is like pretty well underway, and I'm just kind of like double checking negative spaces and things like that to try to get it a little bit more accurate before I start coloring. And a lot of that happens while I'm coloring too. Like I'll be constantly kind of going in and seeing if shit's fucked up, which it almost certainly is because I'm very bad about actually measuring. Hello, people in chat. Welcome. Don't get scared off. Anytime I mention that anyone has entered chat, they freak out and leave. Don't worry, I'm not gonna call you out or anything. Alright, that's looking fairly good. There's still a bunch of issues. And it sucks like when you like watch people like Artgerm streaming, he like makes one line and it's perfect. You're like, you ass. Dirty ass. Not how I draw. Like draw a line, then I make a really thick line, and then I draw a line next to it, and then I erase the two different lines and try to kind of figure out like where it should be. Like this. This is fucking messy as hell. I'd be like, oh, that's actually a little bit better if I do this. And like the art for this, the photo, this thing like extends for a really long time. But it's actually much larger a photo than my canvas is, which is fine. I think her rib here might be like a little bit too large. It's like more than you'd think someone would be able to do a back bend. Like if I tried this, my back would just like explode. Like I mentioned earlier that I got back surgery this year or last year, and they had to like cut like a little window out of one of my vertebrae. Um, just pretty crazy. Like now I just have like a hole in one of my vertebrae, but it like mostly fixed the issue. I've been getting like a little bit of pain still, but it's a lot better. Like I used to not be able to like walk very well, and I was like limping for almost like 6 months maybe. Really, really bad sciatica. Sciatica is no joke. No joke. Oh, fuck. Away layers. Okay, so that how is this no longer enough lines to touch the top and the bottom? Must have done one of my patented whoopsie zooms. Um, this foot up top looks too big to me. So bad at using this. I wish they had a fucking lasso select tool. Lasso. I hate using this one. Makes me want to explode with anger. You tell from my voice. Okay, I think I might do color or grayscale. The eternal question. Hmm. Oh, really? Yeah, Procreate is great. Like I have been fairly well recovered from my surgery for a while now, but drawing a lot is a great way to, heal up, How'd you break your ankle if you don't mind my asking? I kind of want to do it in color. Fuck. Color. Color it is. I draw her hair a little bit. I was so looking forward to this weekend, to this week. It's like a very, very stressful week. Lots of stuff happening. Going to Nashville this Monday for work. Oh man, I've been hit by cars too. That's like part of the reason why my back was junked up. I used to be a lifeguard a long time ago in high school, and I was going down a hill on my bike going to work, and some car like blew a stoplight or a stop sign, and they went out in front of my bike, and I skid into the side of the car and then flipped over the top of the car and then slid across an intersection and hit the other side. The guy didn't even stop. And I I rode the rest of the way to work. I had like no skin on my hands. Sucked. I've had a lot of like really horrific injuries in my life. I had one when I was really young. I was at my uncle's house. He had a pool. He liked going over there to go swimming and stuff. He had like a tree fort in his backyard. Awesome for a kid. A pool and a tree fort. Sign me up. Um, I was playing one day and I was climbing the tree and I jumped and grabbed a branch. There was a nail sticking out of the top of it, and I don't know if that's going to show up, but I have like a lump right here. That's where the nail went through my hand, and I was hanging from the tree, basically like partially crucified. And I think I was like just flipping out, hanging there, and they like ran out and had to like pull me off because I couldn't like lift myself off because I was like really young and tons of pain. So yeah, now I have a lump in my hand, which is great. Okay, that's good enough to start coloring. I'm gonna start under the lines. I usually just like painting over the lines entirely. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that or not tonight. Might as well try some new shit. Do I want I think the difference between test over here and test on the right side is that the right side one scales with pressure and the other one doesn't. I use the scaling one, I guess. This image is almost entirely backlit. So whatever I choose as the original skin tone is probably not going to be very visible in the end. tree forts are like fucking menace to healthy kids. I've been hurt in so many tree forts. I had a tree fort collapse when I was in it one time. It was like a multi-floor tree fort that I built with my stepbrothers. Oof, fucked up. Landed on a rock, 2 stories up. While talking about injuries, weird topic for an art stream. Uh, One time I was like at my cousin's house and they lived in like a wooded area. We used to go out into the woods all the time, and I was out there alone. I think he was like not around or something, and I was like running. No, he was with me actually. Uh, and I think we were just like playing a game or something. We were running through the woods, and I didn't notice, but there was like razor wire strung between 2 trees. And I was like running full speed, and it just like trip lined me and like pulled the skin off my shins. Fucking rough. And I had to walk out of the woods. We were like a mile in. I had to walk the whole way out. My shit bleeding like crazy. And like I remember like taking my socks off and they were just like red all the way down. Like the whole front of my leg was just gone. I was a stupid kid. I got hurt a lot. The issue with drawing or painting above the lines is that you don't really know what the boundaries are going to look like when if you do get rid of the lines. Maybe I'll just keep them the whole time and paint like the shadows on top of them or the highlights on top of them. That might be cool. I'm too lazy to actually do any like inking or anything today though. I kind of want to do like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan art with Josuke. I wish his outfit was a little bit different though, Josuke's. It's kind of dumb. I guess the only thing I don't really like about it is how like wide his collar is. Weird. This brush is not good for this type of stuff. That's one thing I wish the Apple Pencil had, like rotational positioning. So like if you had a brush that was wide like this one, you could like rotate the pencil in your fingers and it would be like whatever the new direction is. You can do that with like direction and things, but it's not the same. Like there's a pen for the like Intuos and Cintiqs that works like that, and it's pretty dope. Um, I'm gonna do painting under. I might as well just alpha lock this. I still can't believe that that's how you alpha lock something. I always test it after I do it because I'm still timid about it. I'm just gonna try to like lay in the shadow, the really dark shadowy areas fast. And I'll go in and like clean the forms and add volume and all this junk. You can see like issues with my initial asset coloring, like I missed some spots. Why maybe I shouldn't have alpha locked it so soon. I'm just basically trying to figure out where like the major plane changes are. So like here, the belly is definitely lighter than the side. And this whole area in here gets pretty dark. I don't need to worry about this thing. And with a lot of these like Scott Eaton photos, there's like a second light source. So there's like one looks like underneath her, like the her back here is lit. Arm is mostly dark towards the front. Yeah, man, like what blows me away is that there's no indication once it's turned on. Like if the like layer active marker like put an A in it or something, like anything, like any little thing could have helped with that. I was complaining about it during like the stream where I learned how to do it. I was complaining about it for like an hour, and then I like accidentally like went outside here and I was like, "Oh," and it was working. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Oh, meta music. Hold on. Um, I don't know why I've been really liking Caro Caro Bonito recently. I think I learned about that on Spotify Weekly. Oh, these little corners? Oh my God. I would have never noticed those in 1,000 years. Holy shit. That's crazy. Thank you for letting me know. I would have gone for the rest of my life not knowing what that meant or even noticing that it was there. I don't know why I like this brush so much. It's so dumb. Such a pain to use. I can't believe that that's their fucking solution. They must get a lot of like contacts about that. Like if they had done any user testing at all, they would have been like, "Oh, maybe, maybe we should make this a little bit more like visible." Is this like the album version? This is like not the one I know about. I like this album better. $98 8 days of daily drawing. I don't know if I've even improved a ton yet. I think this is gonna have to end up going for like longer than a year to get to where I want to be, which is cool. Like I didn't plan on like just stopping at the end of a year, but the year seemed like a pretty like definitive amount of time, you know. And I was hoping that like I'd be able to like chart my progress. I think there's been maybe a little bit of progress. Like I'm learning more about anatomy and like through stuff like this, like doing studies, but I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Mitomo still, and they just added like ninja costumes and junk. But all of the drop games for the ninja costumes are super hard, in my opinion. I wasted like 7 game tickets yesterday, and I didn't. I got like one thing. I got a sword for your back. Fucking alpha lock. Jesus. Jesus procreate. I don't know if I want to stay painting under or switch to painting over or what. I used to like always like having line art like visible forever, but like, the more I practice and like work on this type of stuff, the less I like it. I don't understand why it does that either. It just like zooms out randomly sometimes for me. Maybe it's like my knuckle touching it and that is enough to confuse it. I'm gonna turn alpha lock off. Every time I do it, I'm like, fucking little corner things. Who allowed this to be? Corner things. Like, I have palm rejection totally turned off, and I have like a glove that's supposed to make your hand like totally non-capacitive. Most of the time it works. Like every once in a while I think like this second knuckle hits and it like freaks out. So I might need to get one with like the two fingers. Drawing for a week is good. Like I've been ever since January I've been doing it every day. I think it like developing a routine really helps. I hadn't drawn before that for a very long time though. I like lost a lot of it. Well, I don't like the it's mostly like a feel thing. I don't like the feeling of my hand on I have a screen protector on here and I just something about it I don't like. And then I also felt that with palm rejection on it was like less responsive, like twisting and turning the canvas. Um, so just like kind of used to drawing with a glove on anyway. So I also have like a wrist support thing underneath the glove because since I started doing it every day, it's been junking up my wrist a bit. So I have really bad, like really bad like drawing stuff where I like use my wrist entirely instead of using my arm. Something I'm working on, but until I get it, I don't wanna like spend a year like getting better at drawing and then not be able to do it at the end of that time, you know? Yeah, the Apple Pencil's like totally incredible. I'm blown away with it. I had just bought a Cintiq not too long before getting this, which my girlfriend now uses when we draw. But um, I like the Apple Pencil a lot more than the Cintiq, I think, which is crazy. See how fucked up this looks if I switch it from an underpainting to an overpainting. I think tomorrow I'm probably gonna work on my Dark Souls drawing a bit. I haven't been back to that in a while. Yeah, I'd love to get back into 3D stuff. I actually went to school for doing like 3D modeling and animation, and I haven't done it in years. It's just such a hard, like especially when you get into the desktop ones. Like I've been looking at Cinema 4D and stuff, but they're like $3,000 for a license. But I love seeing like the stuff like Timothy Reynolds is like a really good like 3D artist. He does like low poly like vehicles and things. That's really good. And I see a lot of stuff on like Dribble, a lot of people doing like 3D rotation things, and I do miss 3D. I was like big into like character modeling and stuff. I'm coloring this in like a really weird way. I don't usually color like this. Everyone I've met on stream though has been saying like if they have a Apple Pencil, they're like it's so fucking good. Yeah, it did kind of piss me off that like I haven't even had this for very long, and like right afterwards they announced the like smaller iPad Pro, which I still like this form factor better, I think, but the smaller one has like a 4K camera and like all this other stuff that's like just way nicer. The thing I think that would have been the best for this one to have too was the like the thing where it takes the ambient light temperature and like adjusts the screen so it looks more like natural in its environment. The fact that this one doesn't have that like made me a bit mad. By mad, I kind of just like shook my fist quietly and didn't say anything. Yeah, I kind of like want both of them, but that's ridiculous and $1 billion. I think both of them have their merits. Urban Primate, I wish I made bigger movements. I'm probably working my wrist right now. Like, I need to get better about that, or else I'm gonna be totally screwed up when I'm an old man. I think the smaller one sounds really cool. I really think that ambient light thing is cool in the 4K video. I'd probably use that almost as much as I'd use it for drawing. The smaller one, I think I'd actually be able to carry around. The bigger one's just so large. Like, I don't even think I've left my house with it, other than like going on road trip. All right, I think I might be almost done for tonight. This is like not in like a great spot so far, but kind of getting tired of drawing. I'll probably come back to this pretty soon. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm gonna work on my more finished Dark Souls one and not use this brush. Um, as far as what I want to work on tomorrow, let me switch. So, what I want to work on tomorrow on this is this pillar thing and potentially this background area. Um, I'm pretty happy with where this like back wall is at so far, aside from all this garbage. Um, the knight is in a decent spot. He needs like more chainmail work and like his straps and stuff. The golem needs weapon. Um, but yeah, this still needs a lot of work, and I think I'm already like 30 something hours into this one. But hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to do a longer stream. I don't know why I keep hitting gallery. I meant to hit canvas. Um, yeah, this is what we got done today. Not a ton, just kind of a rough kind of figure study, but I'll be back again tomorrow. Thanks for you guys for watching and for chatting. It's always fun when people are in chat and have stuff to say, especially I like talking about uh, iPad stuff and Apple Pencils. Um, Sketchbook Pro sounds cool. I have it downloaded on here, I think. I just haven't used it too much. Um, but yeah, thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again. I'll be back tomorrow, probably a little bit earlier than this. But have a good night. Later.